Hey everybody, Backpack Hack here coming at you with another trail tip, and this is a video that applies to pretty much everybody, and that is how to interpret reviews. If you're looking for a piece of gear, and I don't care what kind of piece of gear you're looking for, whether it's a tent or a firearm or anything, suppose you're a coyote and you're looking for a rocket sled, and because you've got this bird that is just looks very, very yummy, but it's too fast to catch and you want to buy a rocket sled. And you want to know who makes the best rocket sled. And so you get online or you start looking around for reviews. Well, there is a technique to interpret reviews. And I'm going to go over some of the basics here. And I apologize for seeming like I drone on in this video, but it is more of a audio type of information as opposed to visual. But the first thing on the reviews is ask people you know. Ask flesh and blood human beings, your neighbors, your coworkers, your church members, people that you run into every day. Ask them what they have for a particular piece of gear. And like I say, it doesn't matter what kind of gear they're getting or what they're using. Ask them what they have and what they like and they don't like. That is going to be the best review that you get, the first-hand reviews. Now, how do you find reviews online? Simple. Look up Acme Rocket Sled review. Put those 4 words into Google and see what pops up. That's the easiest way to find a review. Make, model number, and the word review, and just do an internet search. Look at reviews from multiple sources, especially when you're doing online. Don't rely on just one web page, especially Amazon, of reviews, because Amazon is known to pay reviewers. So take everything here with a grain of salt. Item-specific forums are a gold mine. These people aren't reviewing, they're discussing it, and they're discussing that particular type of item. For instance, if you're looking for a flashlight, budget light forums and candle power forums are a couple of great resources. So look for forums that are specific to the item that you're looking for. Many times you don't have to register to read the reviews. You just get online and well, they're not reviews, I should say. You don't have to register to read the threads. You just can get online and read them. Now, some of them might get a little too technical. Somebody may say, well, I like this one because the driver is more efficient than this one, or the LED is a 5550 where this is a 2835, or what have you. A little too technical, but you can garner a lot of good information out of just reading through some of the threads on item-specific forums. Next, is the manufacturer rated with a BBB? Now, I realize this may not be true with all manufacturers with so many overseas manufacturers, but if the manufacturer is within the United States, look up their BBB rating, the Better Business Bureau. Now, when I say ignore, I'm not saying ignore completely, just say, oh, completely. But take this with a grain of salt. Reviews that sound too much like other reviews of the same product. It could indicate that they're written by the same person. Again, a lot of people get paid to do reviews. So they may sit down and have 10 or 12 different online accounts and they review the same product and just reword it. So be very, very careful of that. Or it may be somebody who simply copies and pastes from one to another and edits it a little bit from one web page to the other to make it look like a different review when it's actually the same review by the same person or just a rehash of an existing review. Don't completely discount it, but take it with a grain of salt again. Reviews that are scathingly negative. Some reviews are so over the top that you can only conclude it was planted by a competitor or somebody with an agenda. For instance, a person buys a product, they misuse it, they abuse it, they modify it, they change it, and then they try to get warranty work done, and the manufacturer refuses. And so, as a result of that, the person leaves them a very negative review. That could be very well the case when you're looking at reviews. Lean towards products or services that have a lot of reviews. Now again, this is the double-edged sword between a lot of reviews and paid reviews. There may be a lot of reviews and some of them are paid. So you just got to, like I say, it's always don't take everything at absolute face value. But a lot of reviews could simply be rehashes of existing reviews. Be careful of products with very few reviews or no reviews. Now, this doesn't mean it's a bad product. Maybe it's a niche product that just hasn't really gotten out on the market. It could be something new. It just came out on the market and nobody's had a chance to actually take it out and try it and actually do an actual review. So don't take no reviews or few reviews as a definite negative. Here's one that I will say ignore means ignore. Ignore reviews that focus more on the person doing the review than the actual review. Somebody who says, well, I do this and I know this and I have experience in this, and oh, by the way, here's a flashlight that puts out light. Those kind of reviews are more, it could be a tip-off that it's a public relations firm trying to target a demographic group. So again, ignore somebody who is more talking about themselves than they are the product that they're reviewing. Look for reviews that allow the reviewer that's writing the review to put up their level of involvement. And what I mean by this is this a newbie? Is this a first-time user? Is it a hobbyist, an amateur, an avid enthusiast, a semi-pro, or even a professional? What this means is if it's a newbie or a first-time user, in other words, let's say you've got a person that has a flashlight, and they've had this flashlight for years, but they decide, I want to upgrade this flashlight. So they go out and buy this flashlight. Now, this flashlight definitely outperforms this one. This brighter, batteries last longer, and it has more function. This one simply turns on and off. This one has 2 light levels plus the strobe. Somebody may say, wow, this is really cool, and it was only $7. But they may not have the experience to be able to know that there's something a whole lot better. Yes, this is more expensive. This is a Zebra light. It was over $100, but it just runs circles around this. So be careful of the level of competency. I'm not saying these people are stupid, but they just don't have the knowledge base to say whether a product is really good or bad on the grand scheme of things. As Paul Harvey said, page 2. If possible, look to see when the review was done. It could be that the review is an older one that's still available online, and it reviews an older model or a previous version or an older iteration of that product. And it's several years old, and maybe the manufacturer has modified, updated, corrected it with a new model, or they've simply made it a change. There was an issue with the first run of production and they found out about it, so anything after serial number such and such has been corrected. That may be something you want to be able to look into. Discount features or discount reviews that are simply a list of the features. Here's a flashlight, it does this and this and this and this and this. The best review, whether written by a newbie or a seasoned professional, indicates the benefits you can derive from the use of the product. These core features are actually the ones that you use as opposed to the ones you probably won't. Don't rely too heavily on reviews that are gushingly positive. Beware of stellar reviews that only indicate a minor feature that is missing or might be considered a defect. It could be legitimate, but it could be a cleverly paid reviewer. In other words, a person who says, oh, just all these flowery reviews about this is great and it's fantastic, the best thing since sliced bread. I don't like the taillight switch, but yeah, that kind of thing. Pay more attention to reviews that compare two products. It's better to review a product, how does this compare to this, as opposed to reviewing this in a vacuum. Now, I realize I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot with this one because I don't have the ability to go out and buy, 6 or 8 or 10 similar products and race them together. But it's better to have a comparative review to indicate the reviewer has actually more experience in the area and can be more relied upon. Educate yourself on the type of product and the features and functions you're purchasing. Don't use reviews to try to educate yourself on these features and functions and what they actually do. Learn that first and then apply that to the reviews. A lot of times people will give a negative review or give a thumbs down or give a 3-star to a 5-star product simply because they bought something that really wasn't applicable to what they were trying to, the need that they were trying to fill. I can remember reading a review of a tent where they said, we bought a heater and the roof was nothing but mosquito netting. It was a mesh. And so the heat just went right out. I mean, it's a failure. It's a poor product because they didn't do the roof right. Simple. It's a 3-season porch or 3-season tent. It's not intended to be used in cold weather. It's not a design flaw. It's not a defect. It's simply that they bought a tent that was not designed for the purpose in which the user was going to employ it at. Don't be swayed by reviews with a lot of impressive sounding jargon. It just could be that the reviewer is trying to impress you with their knowledge of the product or the service. However, sometimes that is necessary to validate the review. So don't just, like I say, everything is take it with a grain of salt. The final 3 here are probably, I think, the most important. Look for commonalities. And what I mean is, if a number of different reviewers are all basically saying the same thing, then there's probably a lot of grain of truth to what they're saying. Now, I realize I've said earlier that it could just be a rehash of other reviews or the same reviewer using a different account to get paid more. But if you go to different sites, look at the forums, and everybody's saying pretty much the same thing. I like this, I like this, I like this. This is an issue, this is an issue, this is an issue. Here's a problem. You start seeing a common thread, that's probably going to be the truth. If you go to the manufacturer's website and they have reviews on their website for their products, corporate responses are a definite positive. Especially, did they offer a solution, a refund or exchange? And if so, was the customer ultimately satisfied? Now, some manufacturers and distributors and sellers, they edit their reviews. They say anything less than 2 stars or less than 3 stars, we're going to delete. This isn't true for all websites, but there are some websites that will not allow a negative review of their product or service. But those that put them all out there, warts and all, that's a definite positive, as well as the one who says, well, I had a problem with this. Is there a response by the manufacturer or the provider with a solution? We're sorry to hear about your problem. If you send it in, we'll be happy to evaluate it and either repair or replace it, or we just sent you another one and you can keep the old one as a gift as for your problems. These are definite positives that you can look for. And finally, when all is said and done, it doesn't matter what you purchased, whether it's the rocket sled or dehydrated boulders or spring-loaded shoes, whatever you purchase, after you've had a chance to use it, write your own review. Give back to that community that has given to you. And that's part of the reason I do my reviews, is because when I'm looking for a piece of gear, I go through all these steps and look and make my decision, because I don't have anybody sending me something for free. I know there's a lot of websites or a lot of users out there, especially here on YouTube, that they collect gear that are sent from them from the manufacturer. I flat out refuse to do that, because it just shows that I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to favor somebody. And I've had some people say, well, we'll let you review it and we'll let you post it, warts and all. No, you do not send me anything. When I do a review, it's for me, the product that I'm picking out, and I'm paying for it with my hard-earned money. So that's part of the reason I do the reviews that I do. I like to do more of them, but time and weather and work are working against me. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to wrap this video up. Hopefully you've learned a little bit on how to wade through the swamp that is the internet these days, on how to actually interpret reviews. Again, don't take everything as black and white. There's a whole lot of gray area in between. So hopefully these have given you some good ideas on how to do your research online as to that product that you're looking for. So be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share on my videos. I'd like to hear from you. This is Backpack Hat coming at you with this trail tip. Be safe out there, and I'll see you out there in the trail.